Remember those? Remember dial tones way back when? You'd go onto the internet after 6 o'clock, and you'd hear that eternal sound.
Imagine trying to record a podcast and also telling your parents you're not allowed to answer the phone.
So, welcome everybody to the Potentially Playable podcast. It's lovely to see you again. It's been a while, but we are back. With me, as always, are my two fabulous co-hosts. Dan, say hi, Dan.
Ahoy, hoy.
And Rob, say hi, Rob.
What's fabulous about me?
Oh, there's many things fabulous about you, my dear friend. Your luscious locks, your beautiful round face, your sometimes present beard.
That's shaved by now.
Yeah, figured.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a bit since we've talked, since we've had a sit down. But I think we'll start off talking a bit about some of the stuff we've done since we last recorded. Now, it has been a while. So there's some of us have done a few things, so I'm not going to go on about everything because I've been playing a lot of little bits of stuff. But does anyone else want to go first, actually? I'll start with that.
Yeah, I guess I could go first.
Go for it, Dan.
So a game I've mentioned on this show before was Control.
Yes, you did.
Build up to that's release. Yeah, I bought that last week at this stage, and if you haven't been keeping up with the news with it, that game was a bit of a train wreck when it released.
Yeah, I remember, because the main way I've always heard of Control is mainly through you, and I remember, I think it was when you were waiting to get your because did you get your copy from Amazon, didn't you? You were waiting for it to come in, were you?
I got it from Argos when we were in Belfast.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, that's why. Yeah. So yeah. So in the lead up to you getting it, I remember seeing a lot of things like, "Oh, this game's really cool, but it's kind of broken," and I was like, Yeah,
the See, it's really weird to explain. Basically, it was released on regular consoles like PS4 and Xbox One, but it was also released on like PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, obviously. But those versions don't have a problem. It's almost as if they didn't playtest the regular versions,
which is entirely possible.
Like the regular consoles, because from what I've heard, anyone playing it on PS4 Pro had no issues whatsoever. But if you were like me playing it on base PS4, the frame rate would drop to like below 10.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And I've heard of a lot of stuff regarding also pop-in and loading times and...
Like, it was that bad that the cutscenes would freeze.
Yeah, that
and then the audio would keep playing. And then it would either jump to catch up with the audio or just desync itself. And according to the patch notes that came out recently, you can actually, if the cutscene contains this person, the audio will be out of sync. But if it contains this person, it'll be in sync but skip ahead.
Okay.
That's how weirdly specific it was. So it was clearly just like, alright, we just didn't work this out right or playtest this correctly. And in fairness, I got the patch out like relatively quickly. It came out like 2 days ago. Yeah. But I'd played the game for about like 3 or 4 hours when I first got it. And just with the amount of freezing, like the exact point I stopped was I was in a room with enemies swarming me. And the game like went to its 10 frames per second. It froze for like 4 seconds, and then when it unfroze, I was dead. And I said, "Okay, I'm just going to start a new game with the out."
Right.
That's
yeah. But now the patch is out, and it's fine. Like honestly, I'm about another 2 hours. I'm 2 hours into the game now after restarting it, and everything works perfectly fine now, so there's no issues. But I don't have a solid opinion on the new stuff yet because I'm only 2 hours in. But it's good. It's good so far. I'll update in the next episode.
For people who either don't know or don't remember, what's the big gimmick of Control in terms of gameplay?
Basically, you're telekinetic, so you can like dash forward in the air. You can like grab objects from far away and hurl them at enemies, that sort of thing. But something that I thought was really cool that wasn't really advertised a lot is your gun. Your gun doesn't really have ammo. It's more like a charge. So like if you just don't use your gun for like 4 or 5 seconds, it will refill. But if it's completely empty, it'll take like 10 to 15 seconds to reload.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So stuff like that is pretty cool about it.
Yeah, so it encourages
And-
you to try and be a bit more mindful of your gun's limits because you can use it more consistently if you keep aware of it.
Yeah, it's the kind of feeling where it's like they want you, like the gun is there as your like backup if you're being swarmed, but they really want you to use the telekinetic stuff.
Have you got any strong opinions on the story of it? Because a lot of people I've heard discussing the game have compared it a lot to Remedy's previous two titles, that being, if I'm remembering right, Alan Wake and Quantum Break, which were very story-focused.
Yeah,
so...
I'm when you say it like that, I'm sad Control doesn't rhyme as well.
Oh, really? Oh.
No, it doesn't rhyme.
Sorry,
like Alan Wake,
I thought you meant... Fuck's sake. I thought you literally meant in terms of relate in terms of the stories or something, but no, you literally meant rhyme. Okay, yeah, I fell.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Keep up, Sam.
the story is vague as fuck, if I'm to put it bluntly. It's fucking vague. I've learned from playing it, don't ask why or how, just ask what and where, basically, because that's all the answers you're going to get.
I've also heard
Like-
the sort of mapping of it is actually kind of Metroidvania-esque because you're just in one building and you're going to be backtracking to and forth to a lot of different parts of the building.
Yeah, because the way it works is you're like the director of this company now, but you only became the director like as soon as you walked in the building, so it was sort of like your introduction and then all shit went down. So you don't have any clearance for anything. So as you're going through the game, you're just going to find dead bodies that have like, clearance level 3 key card, now you can go back to all the level 3 doors.
Typical. You get control of this big, great company, and it all goes to fuck as soon as you walk in the door.
Yeah. And here's a really weird one for you. So the reason you get appointed as director, you were there for an interview to be the janitor's assistant. That's how low of a job you were going for. And you went into the director's office like about half an hour after all the shit went down with the interdimensional beings and such. And he just shoots himself with that like rechargeable gun. And then it's just suddenly like, you pick up the gun, and then an ominous voice just goes, "Oh, you're the director now," and your character's just like, "Oh, well, all right." But what's really weird is the previous director sort of gives you not so much hints and tips, but like he'll explain some of the weirder things. Like there's a scene where like you flick a light switch and suddenly you're in a motel, and your character Jesse Faden basically says, "This doesn't feel like any motel I've ever been in. It feels like every motel I've been in at once, as if my mind just sort of put all of them together and went, that's what a motel is." And then that guy, the previous director, will say stuff like, "Oh yeah, that's the way that this weird director control interverse world works, where it just sort of takes your brain and does things with images." And it's like, okay, fine. But I'll go with that, sure, it's pretty vague. But don't ask how or why, just ask where. Like, where am I now? I'm here. That's fine. But one character later on then says, like, Jesse says to her, "Hey, how come I can hear that dead guy's voice?" And she says, "Oh, well, maybe since he shot himself with that magic gun, the bullet that went through his head reprogrammed his memories into the gun." So then
Okay.
Jesse is like, so my gun is alive? And some woman's just like, "Yeah, I guess."
What?
Yeah. In fairness, that woman, I absolutely love her for how blunt she is. Like, the whole thing is about interdimensional aliens sort of possessing people and such. Once you beat, like, a certain, like, the tutorial section, she says, like, you sort of heal the world around you. And then that woman says, "Hey, if you can heal the world, maybe you can heal the people." And then you're like, "That's a good idea." So you go over to this woman and you like do the thing on her after like she's been defeated from being infected, and she literally like explodes, turns to dust, and then the dust blows away, and the woman just goes, "Yeah, it was worth a shot. Anyway, let's get going."
Oh. Oh. That's fucking cold.
Well, it's kind of one of those scenarios, though, that in a game or even like in a movie or something, where it's just like, what can you do to something like that other than just laugh?
That's sort of what it is. It's like this game is going to be really serious, but here, sure, we'll have a joke every now and again.
It's good to hear it has this good sense of humor about itself. Kind of how big and bold it is. I don't know why, at least just watching little clips and hearing about some of the different things you can do. It actually reminds me a little bit of a game I really liked back in the day, which is Infamous, in terms of being someone who just very suddenly has these kind of powers thrust on them.
Now that you mention it, yeah, the combat is a bit like an Infamous.
And I
wouldn't say
loved Infamous.
or anything, more so just the combat.
Yeah. And I absolutely loved the combat
black
in
and
Infamous.
white, though?
Sorry, Rob?
Are the moral choices black and white, though?
No, Rob, they were red and blue, for God's sake.
What I like is Jessie sort of talks to the player, like she just refers to them as you. So it may not be the player, maybe some sort of plot twist that like she's an infestation in her brain or something. But basically, like, some janitor will be like to you, "I'll go that way," and then she'll go that way, and he's like, "I don't feel good about this, but you're the one with the control stick, so I guess I have to." Like, it's not like that blunt.
So either the game is very meta, or there is some like big fucking twist building up here.
Yeah, like there's, I guess, to sort of give an actual in-game example is like some characters like, "Oh, that area there is pretty dangerous," and then Jesse's like, "I don't know if I like the sound of that, but then what are you gonna do? You're not gonna have any fun then, so come on, let's go."
Wow,
like they're just acknowledging, "Oh, if I don't go there, the game just ends."
That's the kind of shit starting to make me think of like Sunset Overdrive, where the player character just literally looks at the camera and says shit to you about how much he's tired of this shit.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. You kind of get the feeling that Jesse's just sort of like, "All right, yeah, let's just do it. Come on, I'm not doing that else today."
I mean, fair enough. Yeah, I might see about giving it a go myself at some point, but once I get anywhere through the backlog, the accursed backlog.
Don't talk to me about backlogs right now.
But speaking of the backlog, that transitions very well into what I've been playing. So the big thing I've been playing for the last just under a month, really, is I finally dove headfirst into the world of the Yakuza series.
Oh.
Yakuza.
In the words of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, oh shit, Yakuza. So, I've known about the Yakuza games for a fair while now. My sister got really into them because she got Yakuza 0, I think, 2 years ago now, or a little under 2 years ago. And then there's some artists I follow as well who are huge into Yakuza and do some crazy, amazing art and cosplays and all sorts. So my sister got me my own copy of Yakuza 0 last Christmas, and Yakuza 0 is the original Yakuza game came out in 2005 on PS2. Yakuza 0 is a prequel to that, which was on PS3 and PS4. And I played little bits of it over the months. And I enjoyed it, and I know a lot of what happens in Zero because I watched so much of my sister playing it, but I just wasn't getting that hook that I had to sit there and play through the whole thing. And then during a vacation I sat down and started playing again, and then it finally sunk its claws into me, and I could not fucking stop playing. So for anyone who's not that familiar with the Yakuza series, I know anyone who's friends with me, or at least a lot of people who I chat with on the more regular, know exactly what it's like because I don't shut up about it recently. Yakuza is a kind of unfair but not inaccurate description is it's kind of a Japanese Grand Theft Auto. It's all about you play as characters who are deeply involved with the Japanese Yakuza. They're very gritty, dark, serious stories about various conspiracies surrounding the Yakuza, about conspiracies to murder and takeovers and political corruption and money and slave trade and all this kind of shit. Meanwhile, between all the crazy, serious story shit, you can go around this little sort of inner city area, which is based on a real area in Tokyo, And you can go sing karaoke, become the best dancer in the city, go to a dating club where you sit in a phone booth and chat up women, go to a store where you can literally sit and watch real videos of basically softcore porn with Japanese actresses. It's the
Or
kind
you could just walk around.
I've heard
beat
all
up
of this
kind of
before, but I've
people.
never heard that last part.
Oh yeah, that last part's a thing. In fact, in Yakuza 0, there is a trophy for doing it, which is specifically called "I did it for the trophy." ...
Of course you did.
Of course. There's also subquests tied to this, where you have to do it several times in order to interact with various people who are also doing it at the same time as you.
Oh god.
I was really hoping that it was like a mission where you talk to someone, like in a game where it's like, hey, can you go here and pick this up for me? But this was like, hey, do you want to go watch some porn? And it's like, yeah, all right, sure.
There's a subquest or two that's not far off from that, dude. And
That's
the other thing, is the crazy subquests revolving around just the mad civilians of the Kamurocho. Kamurocho is the fake name of the suburb in the game. Such as you encounter a dominatrix who really struggles to be assertive and dominant, so you teach her how to be. You meet oh god, I don't know why I'm even struggling to come up with them off the top of my head now. It's just so many. There's one where if you bowl enough times, they'll start a competition where if you can score a turkey, which is scoring 3 strikes in a row, you'll be awarded with a Christmas turkey because this is taking place around Christmas. And surprise, surprise, you don't actually get a turkey, you get a real live chicken, which then you can then use to be the manager of your real estate company.
Wait, what?
I'm not making this up.
You're going to have to explain to me why this chicken can become president of a real estate company.
Here's the problem, Dan. I don't know.
So it's like a visual novel dating sim sandbox fighting game.
Yes.
All I know about Yakuza...
Oh, and rhythm game because of the karaoke and dancing.
That's true,
Right.
yeah.
All I've heard about Yakuza is that it's Japanese games at their most wacky, and that you're just going in to be absorbed in the craziness, and that once you start, you're going to want to play every game in the series.
It is pretty much as Japanese as a game can possibly get, I think. At least in terms of games that get any kind of mainstream Western release. Kiryu
is just a great character.
Well, that's the other thing. The characters are genuinely fantastic. Like in Yakuza 0, because it's a prequel, you actually have 2 playable characters. So the main character, and this is the character who's the main playable character in every other main entry in the series, is Kiryu Kazuma, who starts off as just a lowly thug, essentially, in the Yakuza, trying to work his way up. And he's very much... There's a great video by the YouTuber Super Eyepatch Wolf about why you should play the Yakuza games. And he describes Kiryu as someone who essentially he's someone who values the kind of more romanticized version of the Yakuza, where yes, they do some bad things, but it's kind of in the name of the greater good. They have a code, they're honor-bound, stuff like that. And he's constantly just encountering higher-ups who absolutely do not follow that. And the other character you play as, who is not playable in the other games except for one of the remasters, but he is a main rival to Kiryu in all the other games, is Goro Majima, who is one of my favorite characters in video games at this point. In all the later games, he is the definition of that absolute madman. He is a very high up member in the Yakuza hierarchy who is he's the Joker of the Yakuza games, except not evil. He's more like an anti-hero than a villain. But in Zero...
Wasn't he?
Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
Wasn't he also voiced by Mark Hamill in the one game where they dubbed it?
There was a dub of Yakuza 1 at some stage. I think it actually might have been even a dub of the remake, but I'm not sure. And yes, He was voiced by Mark Hamill in the dub.
Why are all the other Yakuza games not in English?
No, they're subbed.
No, they're not. There's Japanese with sub. Yeah, that seems fit. Because Yakuza always seems to me like that game series where it's like you're constantly saying, how did this get localized without
Oh yeah,
that without any changes.
like I've watched a couple of clips of the dubbed version, and look, I'm not a dub snob when it comes to Japanese media, but it really doesn't fit. I think a big part of that as well. Sorry, go ahead.
The way I hear is like the story sequences are like meant to be taken seriously, while all the karaoke softcore horn side stuff is sort of the joke.
Yeah.
But that the English dub is kind of like it's as if the actors doing it only saw the wacky sides and just went, all right, so this is kind of an ironic story. Like,
yeah, kind of. Like, I'll say, I've seen a couple of the clips of Mark Hamill as Majima, and he's actually very good. But even in the more serious stuff, Majima is completely crazy, so that kind of works. And it's the kind of thing where it doesn't help as well that in the sub, I mean, the voice acting in these games is fucking phenomenal. It is so fucking good. They're actually gorgeous games to look at as well. Like, some assets in the games are a bit dated. Some like in Yakuza 0 in particular, because it was both a PS3 and PS4 game. There's some areas you can look and go, it looks a bit rough. But a lot of the facial animations and the character designs just look amazing. Like, it's some of them are on standards you'd expect from shit like, you know, Death Stranding coming around the corner, and I would argue this looks maybe just as good. God,
so would you say Yakuza 0 is a good place to start?
Actually, yes. And I know a lot of people who are really diehard Yakuza fans agree that it's actually a really, really good place to start, because the whole thing with the Yakuza games is none of them have any crazy differences in terms of their mechanics. They all function very similarly. They all feature I'm pretty sure all feature the same fighting styles that Kiryu uses. They all feature a lot of the same techniques and combat and even areas. But there's enough done to the story and the characters and the activities you can do and the subplots that makes it worth going through all the other games. But I think Yakuza 0 is a great place to start, especially because as well it doesn't do anything that feels out of place as well as a prequel, because the first two entries in the series, Yakuza 1 and 2, were also remade and remastered for the PS4 with Yakuza Kiwami and Yakuza Kiwami 2, and they took advantage, especially with Kiwami 1, by linking in a lot of the stuff from Yakuza 0 into Kiwami, because as far as I know, and I might be a little wrong here, but as far as I know, certain characters in the original version of Yakuza 1 didn't have the same impact, and they didn't have as much development. And a big reason they didn't have that is because you couldn't build on it from having Yakuza 0 as a baseline, because a lot of the characters that are in Yakuza 0 are major characters in the first Yakuza game as well. Which is also because I finished Yakuza 0 and I'm currently playing through Yakuza Kiwami. So it's very evident how much they linked in Kiwami with 0. Very much, it works very well from a storytelling standpoint, but it also means if you did start with 0, you can now just flow through the games, the rest of the games completely seamlessly. You're not losing anything.
All right, well that's good.
And
can I, before we go off the Yakuza topic, Sam, can I interest you in a fun fact?
Please.
Did you know that there is a Sonic the Hedgehog character that is canonically a member of the Yakuza?
I mean, considering that the Yakuza games are published by Sega, and you can visit arcades as activities in the Yakuza games, and all the arcades are Sega arcades featuring a lot of Sega games, that doesn't surprise me.
No. This character is from, like, the 90s, before the Yakuza series was even a thing. Like, he's a member of the actual, legitimate, real-life Yakuza.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's sort of, like, mostly just implied, but, like, it's a character called either Fang the Sniper or Nak the Weasel. It's like whatever region you're in, he had a different name. He was on like the Game Gear games. He's in the Game Gear games, but he's missing one of his fingers, and that's apparently the finger that you have to get cut off when you're joining the Yakuza.
Yeah, well, it's not actually if you join. It's okay. I'm basing this off the Yakuza games, so don't quote me. But if you fuck up bad enough, one of the ways you can pay penance is sever your pinky finger.
All right, I see.
Yeah, it's a way to mark
because you
yourself.
didn't defeat Sonic.
The last thing I'll say in regards to the Yakuza games is another thing I think is just so well done. Think of how many stories, be it games, movies, shows, whatever, try to make a prequel to their original entry, and it just doesn't. It does more damage than it does good. It's incredible what a good job, in hindsight, Yakuza 0 does at giving an earlier backstory and more fleshing out to two of its main characters, and doing it so well. Because the big build-up of Zero is Kiryu and Majima going from disgraces of the Yakuza to being the characters they're known as in the later games. Kiryu being the legendary Dragon of Dojima, and Majima being the terrifying Mad Dog of Shimano. And watching their development and all the other characters that influence them is just... oh, it's a joy to behold.
That sounds kind of similar to Dragon Quest 3 that one of our friends has been playing.
Yeah.
Recently. We're like, 1 and 2 are just like your regular games, but there are characters in that say, oh, have you heard about the legend of Erdrick? He was like this great like warrior back in his day. And then the third one is just you just play through that legend.
I actually didn't realize that. It was actually a lot of fun. Our mate who was playing Dragon Quest 3, because he basically posted in a group chat with us asking, I'm about to make up my party. Does anyone want me to use their name? And if you do, tell me what class you want to be. So it was actually ended up being myself, Dan, and another friend of ours, Connor. And he'd give us live updates at how well our characters were performing, and it was really, really fun.
Mine's a
How much
furry.
did you disappoint him?
Oh, I was a fucking star player, my dude. I kicked the ass.
I couldn't keep up. One day he would text me and say, like, oh, Dan, you're easily the weakest member. And then, like, half an hour later, he'd text back in all caps, Dan, you just leveled up, and what the fuck? You have, like, 4 times the amount of health as everyone else.
Here's the great thing with me, because I asked him to make my character a priest. So every time he was... if any time he was going on about me doing something cool, all that came to mind is that infamous line from an old Peter Jackson movie where an Australian priest starts karate fighting zombies, and he goes, I kick ass for the Lord.
Yeah. Fucking classic.
Absolutely brilliant. I love it.
That actually ties in well with Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 are being ported to Switch in like a physical collection. But it hasn't got a Western release yet, or like an announcement that it's going to be getting one. But they did say that it's going to be translated in English. So
nice.
It kind of that implies, and if not, Switch is region free. Just import it.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually funny talking about Dragon Age just hot off Yakuza, and I'm just saying that because they recently announced the next entry in the Yakuza series, which is kind of a soft reboot because it's no longer got Kiryu as the main character. And as well as that, it's taking a big shift in gameplay style because it's going to be a turn-based RPG rather than a real-time beat-em-up. And they only the other day from the Tokyo Game Show released an English translation of the first trailer, and they even directly reference Dragon Quest in the fucking trailer.
Is Hero a playable character?
I mean, I wouldn't be fucking surprised.
So what did they do, Sam? What's in this trailer?
Oh fuck. Let me see if I can remember off the top of my head. Like it's the new main character is there's still it's not Kiryu, and he definitely seems to have a different attitude to Kiryu. He's still a dude with a dragon tattoo on his back. He's still someone who ends up taking the rap for someone else and going to prison for a while. But everything that's where the similarities begin and end, I suppose. I'm trying to think of any of the maddest stuff in the trailer. A lot of the madder stuff in the trailer focused a lot around just taking Yakuza and making the combat turn-based, but still being crazy over-the-top Yakuza. It's not just, right, it's going to be turn-based, so just take your turns punching each other. You've got way more weapons and abilities, and it's the kind of RPG system where there's jobs, so the main character can have different jobs, which affects not only his outfit but his fighting style. So like one of the jobs, if memory serves me right, and if I'm remembering the translations correctly, is host. So like if he was a host of like a cabaret club where he'll have like special attacks that involve him like take out a bottle of champagne, shake it up, and then fire it at enemies.
I like it. That sounds. I like when devs challenge themselves like that, because if the combat has been that similar throughout all of the series, like you were saying, this kind of feels like them just going, yeah, come on, we can spice it up, do something different, but have it still feel the same.
I think it's a very good idea, especially since it's not using Kiryu anymore. And, like, I don't know the story beyond Zero and Kiwami. That's where my knowledge of what happens in the Yakuza series ends. So, I just know... The only thing I know about 6, which was the last one that featured Kiryu, I heard that it does seem... It definitely ended in a way that you could leave him alone now. So I think if you want to try and go bananas with a new style of gameplay as well, doing it with a brand new character and it's got a new setting as well. So it's like, yeah, this is the way to do it. Just go balls out, do whatever the fuck you want with this one. You're not restricted.
Yeah, and if people don't like it, they can just say, oh yeah, that's the one with that weird character that no one cared about or anything. We didn't tarnish the original character's legacy, I guess, if people don't like this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. So,
Rob, what have you been up to?
Not an awful lot. So I'll just be fairly brief.
Falling through the void in between podcasts.
I've decided to restart painting Warhammer models.
I didn't actually. You mentioned this to me. I didn't actually know you had any Warhammer models. Did you used to collect them?
Yeah, new to me.
Yeah, did you not remember in secondary school we used to have that? That was kind of a gaming night thing, but I guess that kind of fell to the side eventually. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but I just don't remember Warhammer being involved in it.
Must have been before your time.
It probably was before my time.
Yeah, good times. I've also wasted far too much time on Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links on my mobile.
You know what? Tell me about Duel Links. I know how much you play Duel Links, but I know nothing about it.
It's basically a shrunk down, faster paced version of the normal game that's kind of set kind of in the past, really, because they've not got all the mechanics that are currently in the main game. So it's a bit more accessible to new players.
I was about to say, that actually sounds really good, because like, I was big into Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was a young teenager, but and I considered once or twice getting back into it, and basically anytime I did, they released a bunch of new stuff that was just like, when you hit a point where your cards have so much text on them that you have to write it so small that you need a magnifying glass, that's when I'm not fucking bothered.
Yeah. I will say, though, it's at this point, it's not it itself is not a game that's very accommodating to new players either.
Just because of how much it's developed, or
that, and also it's very much kind of the typical mobile game, and also it's developed by Konami, so you're gonna be like,
pinch of salt.
Either do you want to spend money so you can actually play, or do you just want to get beaten up by all the people who did pay? There's your choice.
Thanks Konami, appreciate it.
Yeah. And just earlier today, because it was on sale on Steam, I just picked up the second Styx game. Styx Shards of Darkness.
Yeah, you played the first one, didn't you?
I played a good bit of it. Haven't finished it though. I'm probably gonna pick it up again.
It's one of those games I remember hearing. Like, I never heard much about it when it was first released, but in time since, I've heard the occasional. It's one of those games I think you meet the occasional person who goes, "Did anyone here ever play Styx? Because Styx is good crack."
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
It's another one of those kind of quirky stealth, and like stealth is your main option kind of game.
Yeah,
it's more along the lines of say Thief than Assassin's Creed, because
Well,
in
Styx-
Assassin's Creed, combat is always kind of an option. In Styx, no. You're a goblin. You are not a fighter. You sneak up and you stab people. You shank them. You do not fight them. They murder you.
So yeah, very much following in the vein of older games, old school stealth games like, as you mentioned, Thief and things like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's about it, really, that I can talk about.
Cool.
Because we should probably get on to the actual meat of the thing before.
Yeah, I think we'll go on to the main event of what we're going to chat about. So,
Sam, what's been in the news?
Well, the big thing that's been in the news is last week there was a Nintendo Direct, and it was a big one.
Oh, this Direct.
My God.
It's
like, when Nintendo announced a Direct, I try to tailor my expectations, because sometimes there's not a lot. Sometimes it's just a few things, or it's a big dump of a lot of little smaller titles, which, when it is, good for them. I got nothing against them, but it's nothing that typically gets my, piques me up all that much. This one, on the other hand, my fuck. So, the very first thing it opens with is, hey guys, Overwatch on Switch.
Oh.
Hey.
I'm not gonna lie, like me and you especially, Rob. I know our relationship with Overwatch is a messy one.
My relationship with it is strained at this point.
Yeah, honestly, I'm feeling that too. And here's the thing: I might get it on Switch. This might be what gets me to try it again.
Sam.
I know.
Well,
Do we have to cut back to the earlier episodes of our show to hear you talk about why you'll never go back to Overwatch?
But it's on Switch.
A lot of things are on Switch. Get those instead.
Yeah.
But it's Overwatch on Switch.
But it'll have loot boxes.
It will.
And the toxic community will be there as well.
Oh,
and besides,
it's all coming
back.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's there's a few people I follow on Twitter, a couple of old friends of mine who I recently started following on Twitter who still play Overwatch. And seeing occasional tweets from them going on about it and still having fun. It's like, I remember when that was me, when I had fun playing Overwatch.
Hansa
yeah, but
sucks.
you see, Sam, you can't really play with them. They're already Tracer.
But Sam, now it's just barrier meta.
I know.
Because Sigma or
I'm not saying I'm not. This will come back. This will either come back with, you'll either never hear me mention Overwatch on Switch again, unless there's some controversy around it, or you're going to get a very, very, very ashamed me opening an episode with, guys, I've been playing Overwatch on Switch.
I'll slap you through Discord.
You are
welcome
to.
About that announcement, though, was during the stream, apparently in the chat, there was chanting of dead game, as they revealed that.
I mean...
Yeah, well, it is kind of dead.
It's not, though. There's no point in bullshitting that. It's not.
No, it's not
got
dead.
A huge community.
I never hear anyone talk about Overwatch anymore.
Yeah, in our circles, yeah, I wouldn't expect you to, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still got massive leagues, it's still got huge platforms on streaming services, and they've still got millions of players. Like, it's one of those things. Yes, it's not the media sensation it once was in gaming. You're right.
Yeah.
But it's not dead.
Mm.
And look, I'm saying that as someone who,
shit.
and I'm saying that as someone who, as I have talked about before, has fallen deeply out of love with Overwatch and wishes it was being handled differently. But sure.
Yeah, but Sam, let me just run through a quick list off the top of my head of other games coming out for Switch this year that you can get.
All right, no, you know what? No, because I want to take us through in some degree of order, going through this list of shit that was announced in the fucking Direct, and I don't want to get skipping through stuff.
Go on, then.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the next ones we'll be able to go through pretty quick. There was more stuff about Luigi's Mansion 3.
That game just looked better every time they showed up.
It really does. Like, I've never played the original Luigi's Mansion games. I might play the first one at some stage. I don't know if I'd be fussed on the second one as much. But no, this game looks fantastic.
I do want to play the first one. I just remember as a kid, I played like a demo of it before, and I got stuck because it was just such an alien concept of a game to me. I didn't know what to do. But Luigi's Mansion 2 on 3DS, it's alright. I've just never had the drive to beat it.
Well, one of the things I don't like, at least from reviews of Luigi's Mansion 2, is that, correct me if I'm wrong, it follows a more level-based approach, like a Super Mario Brothers game. Which
exactly.
I prefer the idea of the first one, where it's just, here's the mansion, go start exploring it.
Yeah, it kind of works better as a Metroidvania as a mission-based thing. But it was like on a handheld, so I get why they did it. But this looks to be going back to like sort of a mix of the two, where it's like, here's this floor of the mansion. This is your Metroidvania now. Next floor this is its own one. That sort of thing. But like I love what they're doing with it, because it's like it's a haunted hotel, but all the areas are like themed different, so it doesn't just feel like generic hotel. Yeah. There's a pirate place. There's a disco, because disco is dead, so it's a ghost. Haha.
No, but it's a great way to take the idea of splitting things into levels, but make it work as a single cohesive exploration unit.
Yeah. But the best thing about Luigi's Mansion 3, I'm going to say it right now, is it confirms Mario Strikers for Switch, because one of the there's a room of paintings that they showed off in a gameplay demo, and it's concept art for Mario Strikers that I can fucking tell you didn't exist before this game, so it's new concept art. Why would they be doing that? It wasn't a new game. Get it in my blood.
Okay, that's pretty hype. I would play the shit out of that.
I live in hope with you, my friend. I want Mario Strikers Charge 3. I want Mario Strikers on fucking Switch. Nintendo, what are you doing? Can we have Mario Strikers on Switch?
Let me just clarify this right now. I fucking hate football. I hate football. I hate football fans. I hate football culture. I hate the sport. It's fucking dull and boring. But Jesus Christ, the Striker's a fucking good game.
And I'm on the other spectrum.
Luigi to crotch chop the crowd again.
And I'm on the other side of the spectrum. When I was a teenager, I was a football maniac, and I still love Mario Strikers.
The goalkeeper can drop kick you into an electric fence, and that's like, how else can I sell a game to you than other than you can be a ghost that gets drop kicked by a crocodile into an electric fence.
You can get Waluigi displaying his crotch at you.
Oh yeah, that too, I guess.
And he makes a wall out of what most people assume is
Wario
the short and
suicide. That's the thing. Wario attempts suicide at one point.
Donkey Kong can clap so hard it smashes a ball into multiple pieces. God, I love Mario Strikers. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Mario Strikers Switch. Make it happen, for fuck's sake. Next up was... looks actually kind of cool. I haven't had a chance to try it myself, because there is a free version, but there's a new Kirby game, and it's basically Kirby Castle Crashers, from the look of it.
Sort of, but it looks to be like very boss rush based, which is cool in itself. Sort of like an all-star battle royale for all of... Well, not like literal battle royale as we know today.
No.
Is it
for like the series bosses? It seems cool.
Wait, is it like Star Allies?
Kind of. Like, it's clearly running on the same engine.
It's just like when you said Castle Crash, it's like, so wait, is it where you can summon the powers as buddies that your other players can play as?
No.
Online multiplayer.
Yeah, like a co-op multiplayer kind of thing.
You can do it on your own, but it's clearly designed so that
and it's free to start on Switch, so you can. I assume it's gonna be the kind of thing where maybe like you have the whole tutorial level, and once you beat that, you'll hit a paywall or something like that. I don't know that. That's purely conjecture, but I assume it's something along those lines.
Usually how they do it.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
But I think it's a cool idea, and I think it's a neat way to do it. Next up was a big... it's a remake. Trials of Mana, which was one of the games in the Secret of Mana series, is getting a remake and is getting ported to Switch. So I've never played the Secret of Mana games, but I know a lot of people were really excited to hear about this one. So good stuff. Hope everyone has fun with that.
Yeah.
Next up, Return of the Obra Dinn is coming to Switch.
So who is it?
That does look visually interesting, but I do have to wonder like how good the game is, or if it's just like would it be as well received if it wasn't for the filter.
I don't know. All I know is I remember when the game came out because everybody was talking about it and singing crazy praises about it. It's made by the same guy who made Papers, Please, which I have to admit does perk my interest because I fucking love Papers, Please. Even though this is a completely different style of game. But yeah, I don't know. If it's the kind of thing where it's like it looks like a game I would definitely be willing to check out on Switch. So, no, there's nothing wrong with more games coming to Switch. Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So the next one was a surprise to me. This really piqued my interest. New game by Game Freak, and it's not Pokemon.
Yeah, it was announced at the last Direct, Sam. Have you forgotten?
I honestly have, yes. I completely forgot that was announced at the last Direct. This took me by complete surprise at this Direct.
And remember when I mentioned how they were working on another project to try and diversify?
That I do remember you saying, yes.
That's what I was talking about.
It was just called Project Town or something back then. And it didn't really... it was more of a teaser than anything.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It looks kind of interesting.
It looks cool. It looks pretty.
Yeah, I like the art style. I like the idea that it's a game based entirely in this one town, and you can call allies from just residents of the town. So I think it'll have a thing where you can grow closer to some of them by doing side missions for them, and then they'll be stronger. It seems cool enough. The battle system seems a bit kind of odd.
It looks still very Pokemon-esque to me.
It's very clearly
I think once I see it in action,
wheelhouse.
I'll know.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's something I'll check out because I'm honestly not that big into those kind of RPGs outside of Pokemon. But it's something I'm curious to see, and I am glad to see Game Freak are getting a chance to try out some newer stuff. As much as I love Pokemon.
Yeah, me too. I think I probably won't get it right when it comes out, just because it's coming out the end of 2019 is really filled to the brim with some games.
It really is.
It's kind of just getting pushed aside.
Yeah. No,
it's
very
just getting
much so.
sort of pushed aside for me. I'll get it on a sale, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I think I might be the same. Next up, and this was one we all pretty much knew was going to be at this Direct, but we were looking forward to it. They confirmed that Banjo and Kazooie were coming out. They were released for Super Smash Bros. The day of that Direct. But as well as that, they confirmed the next fighter on the Fighter Pass, which is Terry from SNK.
Terry Bogard
from SNK. What was the game again? Fatal Fury, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
Fatal Fury, yeah. And he's also in the King of Fighters games.
He's kind of like the face of that series.
Perfect example of a character who, for me personally, I don't know Terry Bogard, I don't know the SNK games, but I totally get this is something that a lot of people really wanted. And from what I know as well, the SNK, and basically SNK was huge on Neo Geo. And Neo Geo was a really, really popular system in Latin America, particularly because it was apparently a lot cheaper than the other ones because it didn't need to be imported or something like that. So this is a character that just very much is a big send-off to people of those regions who would have grown up with them. And I think that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. What I like most about it isn't really Terry himself. It's that I just love when a character like this comes out because it just completely disproves all of those bullshit leaks that people.
Oh my god, yes, yeah, I'm totally there with you.
Hour-long analysis of, because it's no one predicted Terry, no one predicted Joker, and people were kind of predicting Hero and Banjo, but Banjo was kind of a.
Banjo's been a request for a long time.
Terry is who the fuck even knows who Terry is, if we're being honest with ourselves?
Yeah.
No one's predicting him.
One other thing I do want to add to that, though, the trailer for him was fucking fantastic.
Oh, that was a very fun trailer. Imagine if you were a huge SNK nerd and you had the Neo Geo and you grew up with it and you're seeing all of these and you when it went by your favorite character and then they sort of jumped off a building and died. You just felt
I look forward to seeing how they theme the souls. Those little missions for the souls.
Spirits, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, this will probably have like a lot because
Actually, yeah,
the
that's a good
spirits of
point.
the DLC has been kind of weird. Like Persona got, I want to say like 12 or 13.
That sounds
Hero
about right.
got,
Yeah,
yeah, Hero got like 8, and then
and
Banjo had
Banjo
about
got
like
7.
10 or 11. Yeah.
Oh
So
no,
like,
technically 8 because one of them you could level up.
If there isn't a mission where it's Ganondorf, but he's got the Geese Howard spirit, that's just like you've missed an opportunity there. Just for the jokes, because people are already making the jokes.
I'm trying to. You've just reminded me. Who the fuck was Gruntilda in the Banjo ones? Was it DDD?
I don't remember honestly.
I think it was. I think DDD was Gruntilda for the Gruntilda spirit in the Banjo ones. But the other big announcement that came with Terry Bogard is they're not stopping at 5 characters for the Fighters Pass. They're gonna do 5 more.
Presumably, they didn't say a number, but like,
Did they not? I had it in my head. They said it. They said they're gonna do more. And from what I've been told, I don't remember them saying this in the direct, but from what I've been told, they are going to the extra ones coming are going to be focusing a lot on the biggest requests from each region. So
which makes sense.
It does make sense.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. You remember how these 5 in the current Fighters Pass were picked? Was Nintendo basically gave Sakurai a list and said, "Here's the characters that we can put in. You just pick who you can make a moveset of."
Yeah,
and that's kind of what happened there. But apparently, with this one, Sakurai's having a bit more like not total control, but he's having a bit more of like, "Hey, people really want this one, and I really want this one. Is that possible?" Nintendo will be like, "Yeah, we can look into that one."
Yeah.
I saw an image for some polls, and I think it was like in America and Europe, Crash is a pretty high pick.
Yeah, I think I know
Crash
what
is
poll you're
pretty
talking about.
popular.
A few mates of mine and Dan, we've been talking extensively about those polls.
See, I
Yeah.
think Crash is sort of like the last major mascot that isn't in the game already. Like, if you go up to someone on the street
Actually,
and be like,
yeah,
"Name some
I
video
don't
game
think that's
characters."
unfair.
Like, there obviously are others like Spyro and stuff, but like,
But when you sort
Crash
of
doesn't
compare it
seem
to sort of the Mario, the Sonic, yeah, I can see your logic in saying Crash would fit in well with that. There's a couple who are on some of the lists who I would love to see. I don't necessarily think they're going to be. Although, even though one of these in particular, if I'm being realistic, I don't think this is going to happen. I'm still going to spam it in every chat I'm in every time there's a Smash Bros. Direct because I want it to happen. Which is, namely, one of the polls, I think this is for the US, had Raiden. I love Metal Gear. I love Raiden. I'd love to see him in Smash. And the other...
a lot of.
Sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, wait, no, go. No, you go.
I was just going to say the other character is Doom Guy. Give me Doom Guy in Smash. Give me Doom Guy in Smash. Give me Doom Guy in Smash.
Doom Guy.
Doom
Oh.
Guy.
And then they give you Sora.
I mean,
No.
the Kingdom Hearts nerds will enjoy it.
Kingdom Hearts fans will enjoy it, but to me, it seems weird to put a Kingdom Hearts character in Smash when like the most recent game and its upcoming DLC aren't on Switch.
I mean, that's not... Well, yeah.
Like, I know they've done it before where it's like, oh, their most recent game wasn't on Nintendo, so why are they in the game? It's sort of like Kingdom Hearts 3 is still like really fresh and there's still stuff coming out for it, so it seems kind of weird.
I mean,
Because,
I don't know.
like-
The one thing that I think fails that a bit, especially with the DLC characters, is, I mean, there is literally nothing Persona 5 based on a Nintendo console at the moment. Well, no, that's not entirely true. The Persona Q2 will have Persona 5 stuff, but, I mean...
Yeah, and Persona Q1 had 4 and 3 stuff, and Persona Scramble is coming to Switch as well.
Oh, I forgot about
I think
Persona
that's
Scramble.
everything.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think that's it. They justified it.
That probably is exactly how they justified it. Yeah, that's fair.
And who was the other one?
Other which?
What was I
Crash
saying?
Team Racing on the Switch?
Oh no, wait, no, yeah, the other character I've seen on a lot of polls who's in the top 10 for pretty much every region is 2B from Nier Automata. Like,
Oh, yeah.
she's not even
That
isn't that game PS4 exclusive?
PS4 and PC. Okay. Oh, actually, no. It is on Xbox One now as well. It got ported. Okay. Here's the thing, though.
All right.
Here's
See,
the thing.
I think it's very.
It probably is extremely unlikely. It probably is almost kind of bullshit. But I would kill to have 2B in Smash.
See, I think that game coming to Switch is actually pretty likely because Platinum Games and Nintendo seem to get along really, really well together.
I mean,
And
yeah,
even
because
Chain-
Nintendo have kind of got a deal with Platinum Games where it's like, have you got any projects you don't really have money for? It's like, yeah. Well, what if we gave you all the money and you just released it on our platform? I mean, if you're going to give us all the money, then all right, sure.
Like they basically kind of like revived them.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
like it or not.
Like they even said before, like they were expecting Astral Chain to do really, really well. They were expecting big numbers from it, but they said it even exceeded those. Like they tried to overestimate how well it would do, and it did better than that.
You see, Activision, you can have successful games when you don't set your expectations to utter bullshit.
Yeah,
It's not that hard.
But I guess if I was to say characters that I want from Smash, obviously Shantae, she's the main one I want.
Shantae would be cool. Like I've not played a Shantae
I have
game,
a whole
but she
note
would
set
be
in my
cool.
head. Like I've seen some people say, like, oh well, her transforming into animals be really weird with hitboxes and stuff. And like, well, then just use the Pirate's Curse.
I
Just
mean,
use the Pirate's Curse moveset.
that argument's kind of bull when there's the Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, no, they can find ways to make it work. The logistics of it are not a problem anymore. Before we move on, and I am gonna get us move on because there's a fair few things still to talk about. But this was technically announced after the Direct at a showcase with Sakurai on Banjo. But they announced a whole bunch of new skins you can get for the Mii fighters. Now these are not going to be DLC; these are paid DLC. So, but there was a lot of cool things. There was like Team Rocket skins. There was some new Persona skins, some new Mega Man skins, and was there anything else? I feel like there's one I'm forgetting.
Get on with it.
There was that net skin.
Get to the point.
Oh, yeah, Sans is in Smash. Make a thing here. Yeah, Sans is in Smash.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. I have Sans in Smash. I don't care if it's just a costume. Sans is in Smash. Toby Fox fucking got into Smash.
You mean I can have Ness fight a Sans Mii Gunner and my Matt Pat me?
God.
The answer is yes, Dan. Yes, you can.
The memes.
The memes.
I mean,
the lore
you
is-
guys make a Matt Pat me, and then while you're doing your final Smash, yell, "That's just a theory," and then as it does the zoom in, go, "A game theory." It's so satisfying.
Okay, but-
I want
but
to see
which-
someone make a
which,
video of this now.
Which one would it be? Which Mii style would have the most appropriate final smash for that?
I want to say the Mii Brawler, even though it does go on a bit long, but yeah, probably the Mii Brawler.
Probably the Mii Brawler,
Matt Pat is
yeah.
the Mii Brawler. Matt Pat's the Mii Brawler. Sans is the Mii Gunner, and then Minecraft Steve is going to be the Mii Sword Fighter.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, that's not even a joke. I think that's how he's getting in.
And
gonna do
honestly,
it.
I'd be perfectly fine with that. I think that's a really good idea on how to get him in.
Yeah.
Because like whenever I see someone do like, oh, here's how he'd work in the game, I'm just like, that. So he's just a regular sword fighter then?
Yeah.
You can do a lot with Minecraft, but I don't know.
You must have a diamond
exactly how-
sword.
I can swing my sword,
Yeah.
sword, my diamond sword.
Yeah, just do that. Give him a stage if you want. Put in like a creeper assist or something, and yeah, there you go. That's your Minecraft.
There you go. That's your Minecraft, boys. So yeah, lots of Smash stuff. Lots of great Smash stuff. I do love, just before we move on, I do love the amount of people pointing out that you can now make get a victory screen for Smash Bros, which has like Sans, Snake, Joker, Dragon Quest, Team Rocket, Persona. And it's like, this does not look like a real game. This doesn't look like it could be real, but it is.
It's smashing.
My favorite one of those was the Sans' victory screen, and in the corner was Joker from Persona, Cloud, and Snake, and then it just goes,
it.
2019's fucking wild, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that one.
I have seen that one too, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So, anyway, let's get on with the big reveals of the Direct. So the next couple of things was just showing off some stuff for some games coming soon. So that the next sort of two in quick succession was just some more cute tidbits on Link's Reawakening for Switch, and of course some stuff for Dragon Quest XI, which is coming out end of this month, isn't it? It gets officially released.
27th.
27th. Yeah. I'm right. Yeah. So at the end of this month. Then there were a few surprise ports announced. First of all was Tokyo Mirage Sessions is getting a port to Switch.
That it is. And
that really is... They very nearly have it to the point of there is literally no reason to own a Wii U, just get a Switch.
Like, to me, like, the only games I can think of that are still on Wii U that you can only get on Wii U and are worth playing are Nintendo Land, which is great.
Nintendo Land is
Pikmin 3, Xenoblade X, Wonderful 101, and that's about it.
Well, for me personally, out of the games I own, at the very least, the only ones that are exclusive to Wii U still that I'd go back for is the HD ports of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah, those as well. Oh, and Mario 3D World.
I never played 3D World, so I can't say.
3D World's good.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it'll be a great game for Switch. And honestly, this is a game I kind of wanted to get when it was coming out, but it came out at such a shit time. Like, it came out when the Wii U was basically known to be dying, so I didn't see any point in getting it.
Well, it had no hype as well, because it was announced like 4 years before it came out.
Yeah.
So, like, by the time it was out, people didn't even notice, because it was the next time it was shown. I was like, yeah, it's out now. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
Thanks. The next big...
Thanks, I hate it.
Thanks, I hate it. The next big announcement, this was one that some people I follow online went fucking bananas. Deadly Premonition is getting ported to Switch, and it's getting a fucking sequel exclusive to Switch.
My God.
Yeah.
I have never played
Premonition.
Deadly Premonition. I have just been told it is one of the weirdest games that has ever been made.
I've been told it's the most David Cage game that David Cage didn't make.
For better.
Sorry,
go ahead,
excuse me. Deadly Premonitions has actual fucking charm in it.
Oh, God.
Oh, but Rob, child abduction, depression, murder,
tits,
racism, kind of.
Fuck you.
Secret Ellen Page news.
Giving Ellen Page a photo album of her baby
into
pictures and asking her to do anything in her game.
Holocaust analogy.
No.
What about this is not
Fucking
endearing to you, my
zombie.
friend?
Fucking tree zombies.
What?
Exactly. Play the game. Find out.
Convincing Ellen Page to be in your game by collecting photos of her as a child and having her not find it weird because she says yes for some reason.
You're filling me with too much emotion.
I will say, you have kind of convinced me that Deadly Premonition would be a great game for us to get together, get a gang of friends together and play through.
Yes, because you honestly do have to fucking experience just the really, really weird choices that were made in the design of this game.
I love...
There's so much weird in it that it has to have been on purpose. It's not. There's no way it could have all been by accident.
Jim Sterling, who we mentioned earlier, is someone I follow a lot. He fucking loves Deadly Premonition, and he fucking lost his mind when they announced not only the port but the sequel. And he's described when he was still reviewing games when Deadly Premonition 1 came out, and he played it. And he was playing through it with his wife, and he basically said that it was a game that it could only get one of two scores. It could only be a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. And he gave it the 10, and he said it is his most confident 10 out of 10 he's ever given a game.
That sounds right.
Like, that is, I gotta say, that is an enticing way to describe a game.
Mm.
So
Like, it is just oozing with charm. I'll
Absolutely.
just fucking say that.
The way I've heard Deadly Premonition described to me by someone was, even if it's the worst game you've ever played, or the best game you've ever played, you're going to have a fucking ball when you're playing it.
It is the room of games. I'll just say that.
yeah, fair enough. Another surprise, well, a surprise to me, port. Divinity Original Sin 2 is getting a port to Switch. I really want to try Divinity Original Sin 2 at some stage. I gotta be honest, this is one of the few ones I don't know if I'd try this on Switch. This is kind of one I kind of want to play on PC. But still, cool that it's coming to Switch. I know a lot of people will probably really like it on Switch, especially that kind of RPG style game on the go. Next up, this is one I'm looking forward to, because we've got Doom 1, 2, and 3 on Switch. We've got Doom 2016 on Switch. So how about we get Doom 64 on Switch? Hell yeah!
Eventually you'll be able to play every Doom game ever released on Switch.
Give me Doom TNT and Doom Plutonia on Switch, and then we're good to go. We're sorted. Yeah, Doom 64 I'm looking forward to, because I've never actually had a chance to play it, because I never had an N64 at any point. And from everything I know of Doom 64, it's a surprisingly good Doom game. Like, it basically functions every way you'd want a classic Doom game to. It has a different art style and different designs to the monsters, which personally I don't really like, but still, if it's Doom at its core, I'll play it. I love Doom.
On the topic of Doom, actually, when we went to QCon recently up in Belfast,
Yes. Yep, we did.
And the creator of Doom, John Romero, was there. He was doing some signings, and he was walking around for a bit. I was upstairs playing the Persona 5 dancing game, because I'd never played it before, and it seemed fun. It was a fun little rhythm game. But while I was doing that, in my peripheral vision, I saw what looked to be John Romero. But I was like, oh, I can't take my eyes off the screen because it's, rhythm-based. I don't want to embarrass myself in front of all these kids watching me.
Okay.
And then someone then later confirmed to me, yes, that was John Romero, and he just apparently, as someone described it, he was just entranced by the game that you were playing, to the point where it almost was like his eyes were saying, "This is what I should have made." Why did I have to make Doom? Like, I just did this, and then I was thinking, it's not too late, John. We can do it. We can make Doom dancing.
Please. Yes.
Make
Make Doom dancing all night.
Not even dancing. If you just make a Doom rhythm game where each button is a different weapon, and you're just killing enemies and doing a regular Doom stage.
Oh
but
my
some
god!
Music.
Get him to work with the fucking guy who did Crypt of the Necromancer.
That's it, exactly. Do a Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Thank you.
Yeah, fucking Necrodancer Dance Dance Revolution Doom game.
Yes.
Doom Revolution. There, I sold it.
Done. Go. John, we've given you your next big game. Go do it.
Do it. I don't care if you don't have the rights to Doom anymore. Just do it.
Do it.
Next one. In Rogue Company from High Res Studios. Cool. I don't. This is one of those ones like I don't know this game. I don't play many high res games. Yeah, good stuff. Did either of you two have any thoughts about that one?
None.
Cool.
Yay, Paladins is cross.
Let's move it on. Keep the train going.
Keeping the train going. Now we're not talking. Look, if you're gonna kick me down for going onto Overwatch, I'm not letting you go on to Paladins.
I know I'm not gonna play it.
Good man.
Rod, stop. We're not keeping the dream going. We're keeping the train going. On to the next one. Let's go. Come on.
Choo-choo.
All right. Next one was one I was really pleased to see, but kind of bummed because of something they announced about it the next day. Super Nintendo Entertainment System Online. Finally, we've got SNES games for anyone who's got the online membership for Switch, which is really cool.
Decent. Good games to play.
Exactly.
I don't care about NES. I care about Super Nintendo. I 100% in Mario World last night. Oh boy, what a game!
And not only that, it's a pretty decent starting selection. You got Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, A Link to the Past,
Kirby's Dream Course. What?
Yeah, I mean, not a bad selection at all. However, the big caveat to this, and just fuck's sake, Nintendo, one step forward, two steps back. They announced the next day that because they're going to have NES Online and SNES Online, they can no longer promise monthly releases to the library.
There is no way it takes that
Why?
much to get a fucking SNES ROM going.
Exactly. I do not accept you could not get a team of people to get these ported on a monthly basis. I don't accept that. This is not
and
that
even
hard.
still, like beforehand, it was like 2 games a month.
Yeah.
That, like, come on now.
And not even. And I'm sorry.
Some of them don't even have the online multiplayer.
But and I'm sorry, it wasn't even good ones half the time. It was just random crap.
And not even all of them need it. You tell me how the fuck I play Super Metroid online with a friend.
Yeah, exactly. It's.
Put Super Mario RPG or Chrono Trigger on there. That doesn't need online.
Yes, put Chrono Trigger on it. That's a game I've wanted to play for years.
Just drop the ROM. That's it.
Yeah.
You can get it for free online, Nintendo. Just download it.
It's just such an indicative thing of Nintendo when it comes to online of one step forward, two steps back. I'm just fucking Octopath
Traveler did really well. Put Final Fantasy 3 up.
Yes!
Anything else to talk about?
Oh, there is. I apologize. Yeah, this is a stickler.
Sure.
This is a stickler for me when it comes to Nintendo and their online stuff, and I know it is for Dan and a lot of people we chat with as well. Yeah. But on terms of something I have a stickler for, the next big thing was big updates for Tetris 99.
Ooh.
Yes. What's your stickler?
My stickler is, I suck at the game, so I don't like it.
All right,
there, I said it, alright? Shut up.
The best I've come is 4th place.
Fuck
and that is so agonizingly close. Hey, I have like 20 hours put into Tetris 99.
In fairness, it's some kind of neat stuff coming. It's got basically, well, granted, one of these things I should have had from the start. I think it's like a practice mode has been added and a survival mode and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, pretty cool. There is also now, I think some features, some modes are going to be unlocked behind. You have to basically pay a small bit to get into certain modes, which, you know what, fair enough. Sorry, go ahead.
They're mostly just like, your local multiplayer thing, or just playing regular Tetris.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, which, you know what? Yeah, okay, fair enough. You make all the online stuff about it free. Then if you want to just have sort of a standard base Tetris game, you pay a bit. It's like, yeah, all right, fair enough. Can't really see anything wrong with that.
And they added a lot of cool themes as well.
Yep. So yeah, that's for the people who like that game. That's neat. Next up is, I forget this franchise is still going. Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo Olympics. At the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
Which is weird, because they skipped the last one. Didn't they? No.
I can't
But I didn't. Sorry.
No, I
sorry.
never even remember, because I forget these games still come out. I forget they keep making them.
I remember what it was. The Wii U had Mario and Sonic at the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Games.
It did?
Which is apparently that's apparently really fucking expensive nowadays. It was.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, because I barely remember it.
It was that they skipped the most recent Winter Olympics, was the thing.
Oh, okay.
They skipped the 2018 Winter Olympics.
Right.
So that's what made people think that the series was over.
Huh. Well, that's coming back. I mean, I can get why they'd make it about this one, since it's taking place in Tokyo. It's like, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Not really much to say in it.
No,
really,
I mean,
just like a regular Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
Yeah. I remember having a good bit of fun playing those kind of games with my cousin when the first one came out.
They're good. Like the 2014 Winter Olympics is really fun.
I never actually played that one. I only ever played loads of the original one. But yeah, it's kind of neat. Next thing was some more stuff about Daemon Ex Machina, and the reveal that there's going to be a demo available to play soon.
Man, that game is getting shipped out to be killed, isn't it?
I can't help but feel that. Yeah, I'm feeling that.
Like it was a game that they've been pushing so heavily for like a year and a bit, and now it's just like, okay, we're going to drop it in September. But don't forget, also in September you have Link's Remakening, and you have Dragon Quest, and then also next month we're going to have like Town, and we're going to have Luigi's Mansion, and in November we got Pokemon.
Yeah.
What are you going to buy? Fucking this Dame the Next Machina game?
Yeah, especially since I've heard a couple of people I follow who've gotten to play it at like gaming press events, and it's not sounding that good. Sounding pretty jank.
All the reviews I've seen of it have said it's fun, but like it's just after a while it gets repetitive, and you're just okay. It really is just mechs fighting mechs, and there's not really much.
I think especially with something like Astral Chain just come out, and stuff like Code Vein just around the corner. I don't know.
Yeah. Which I feel really bad for the developers, because
same.
I can tell they really cared, because they put like out an initial demo to be like, hey, this demo is solely so you can tell us what you don't like and what we can put in. And then the next trailer they had was, here's all the feedback we got. You wanted this, it's in. You wanted this, it's in. You didn't like that? Good, it's gone. We don't have it anymore.
Yeah. Well, sure.
So
well, wait and see.
Maybe
Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised, and it will kick everything's ass.
Maybe it's one of those games that'll like do well in the long run, where like once it's on sale, people are like, oh yeah, I remember that, and then they pick it up.
Sure, we'll wait and see.
Like they drop like
I don't know about
and then a complete edition.
I don't know about you two. This next port completely caught me off guard. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast is getting ported to Switch.
Literally never heard of it.
What?
Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. Now, here's the thing. I've never played this game, but I'm pretty sure I have heard of it.
Never even knew it existed.
This, if I'm remembering the games correctly, and I may not be, I think this is the game that's kind of touted as having some of the best lightsaber combat, because it has very in-depth, like, dueling mechanics where you actually have to plan your strikes and deflect and things like that. Now, I might be mixing that up. I haven't. The other game that's knocking in my head is that might be Jedi Academy, not Jedi Knight. But it just seems it's a very arbitrary. Like, you read the title of it and you go, it's such an arbitrary sounding Star Wars game. You're like, why is this getting ported to Switch? It just seems so out of the blue. Like,
yeah.
If there was going to be a Star Wars game ported to Switch, I would have expected it to be, like an old one, I would have expected it to be Knights of the Old Republic or something like that.
Yeah,
I would expect like Force Awakens or something.
Actually, that would have been kind of sick.
Force Awakens,
Force Unleashed. Yeah, Force Unleashed. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
I wonder if is this now canon? Is this like, does Disney get to decide, oh yeah, this game, we allow this one to be around?
I don't know. I suspect not. I suspect it's just maybe there was like a lot of behind the scenes fan out. Maybe there's one guy who works at Nintendo who's just a diehard fan of this game, and he decided it was going to be his life's mission that this gets ported to Switch.
I wonder if there'll be a remake of Pod Racing.
Maybe there's a guy that
honestly,
works for
I'd be
Disney.
fine with that.
Maybe there's a guy that works for Disney that pushed for them to buy Star Wars solely so that he could remake this game. If I could buy EA, you fucking bet the first thing I'm doing is getting them to remaster fucking Simpsons Hit and Run.
Fair. I mean, hell, if I bought EA, first thing I'm doing, we're getting a remastered ports of the Mass Effect trilogy, and I'm updating the ending. Just try and fucking stop me. Anyway. Moving swiftly onwards. Last things was, it was like a big dump of various ports coming. Farming Simulator, Vampires getting a port to Switch. One, which I get a laugh out of because of how sort of fans reacted. Devil May Cry 2 is getting ported to Switch. Yeah, Rob, yeah, you're a Devil May Cry fan. Take it away.
It's like the one game that is unanimously agreed upon as the worst in terms of gameplay and story is the one you decide, oh yeah, sure, fuck it, that's bad up there.
Well, they put 1 on, so they're doing this, then they're going to do 3 and maybe 4, and they'll never do 5.
I thought it was agreed upon that 2 just didn't kind of happen.
Well, guess what, Rob? I think this confirms 2 is, in fact, canon.
No.
Rob, look, it's okay. Look at it this way. This is Devil May Cry is Capcom, yes?
Yeah.
This is also the same company that released Mega Man X Legacy Collection 2, which is just a collection of 4 unanimously hated games.
Oh, God.
He makes a good point.
They don't care. They're just, hey, that's it. Mega Man. Yeah, sure. Go, just sure. This is Devil May Cry. Yeah, okay. The first one's there. Fine. 2.
It's just
Do it.
the story behind 2's production is such a
It's pretty
mess.
fucking infamous, yeah.
there are numerous videos going over the topic. Look them up and watch them because I can't do it justice as I am right now to explain what went wrong. So very wrong.
I think it's one of those things you could kind of sum up like, well, what went wrong? How do I say everything?
Oh. Anyways,
But it was one of those ones I just got a laugh out of a lot of people I follow who are Devil May Cry fans going, really? I think even
the
one tweet that got shared around.
The description of the tweet, and you're just like, you have to be, you know, you're taking the piss right now.
Yeah,
the way you're describing this.
I was gonna say, it's like even the tweet, like one of the announcement tweets. I think the only thing that it directly says about the game that's like a positive thing is saying Dante has a cool coat or something like that. The best thing you can say is Dante still looks
Dante
good
from the Devil May Cry series.
Well, I mean, you know, it could have been something. It could have been worse. You could have gotten a surprise announcement. Hey, Nintendo is funding DMC Devil May Cry 2. You want, you know, Dante back, don't you?
I want to see what happened when Virgil got all glowy weird. Got that ending. Oh.
But yeah, loads of cool things. And then they ended the Direct with... Okay, for me, this was... I don't know. I think I'm probably in the minority when I say, for me, there could have been cooler things to end it off with. But the big announcement was Xenoblade Chronicles. The first one is getting a definitive edition port for the Switch.
Now, I'm pretty excited. Because I never played the original Xenoblade. But I was there for the whole Project Rainfall stuff. Do you guys remember that?
Not really.
Basically, the game was announced to be coming to like Europe in English, but it wasn't going to get an American release. So this group did Project Rainfall, which is basically just let's just be as loud as possible so Nintendo America can know we want this and it will sell.
Oh.
And then eventually Nintendo were just like, okay, you're loud enough. If you're all going to buy it, then it's worth doing. And then it was. And then it did well. I just didn't get it because it was, like, at the time it came out, which was pretty hard to find.
It was, yeah. I remember it being quite hard to find.
But
I actually never...
Sorry,
go ahead.
I said, I have a story about this, right?
Go for
it. There
it.
was a shop, I walked by a shop one day that had Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii, brand new, comes with a Pro Controller and everything, it was right there, and I didn't have any money on me, so I said, I'm going to come into town tomorrow, I'm going to buy this game. I went into town the next day, went up to the shop, it had been closed down.
What?
The shop had been permanently shut down, because when I went there the next day, shutters were down, I looked in the window, the building was empty, and the sign had been taken off on top of the door.
Oh my god!
Wow.
So the worst part is, does that mean that no one bought that game? No one bought that copy of Xenoblade?
It's sitting in a fucking warehouse somewhere. That actually reminds me. I have a similar story, which is when Mass Effect 3 came out, me and my sister split together to get the collector's edition, and my mum pre-ordered it for us at the time, it was GameStop in Newry. And we had heard that there was going to be GameStops starting to close in the north, but we thought we were all right because we thought, no, we'll get some warning about it. It'll be grand. My mum went the day of release. GameStop was still there, and she went in, showed her receipt for the pre-order, got it, paid for it, and brought it home. She had to go shopping, I think, the next day. GameStop was gone. And she's like, oh boy, that was close.
Yeah. So there was a GameStop in a shopping center near me that was open in total less than a year.
Oh yeah, I know GameStops that ended up being open less time than that.
And in fact, they're shutting down 150 to 200 stores.
GameStop is dying, dude. they're trying desperately hard to stay alive.
I think
GameStop
the one Games Workshop is still open.
Oh no, the ones in the city center are still there. The one near Game Workshop and the one on Henry Street, they're still there. And I doubt they're going anywhere anytime soon. But
GameStop to me is definitively the worst place to buy a game because
pretty much, yeah.
Because it's the most expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay extra for the warranty, which any other shop just gives you for free.
Mm-hmm.
All of their used games some of them are more expensive used than they were when they first came out new.
Mm.
And not to mention, the Rick and Morty section is bigger than the Switch section, and the pop figure section is the biggest of the store. It's
what's
I
the
guess
hilarious
people buy
thing?
those, but you're a game shop. If I go in the GameStop and I'm like, hey, do you guys have this? I remember I went into GameStop once and I said, hi, do you have a copy of Sonic Lost Worlds for the Nintendo Wii U? I have it pre-ordered and it just came out today. And the guy looked at me and he said, we don't have it. And I said, why not? I had it pre-ordered for this shop specifically. And he said, oh, well, we didn't think our customers would be too interested in buying a new Sonic game. I said, that's not a good enough fucking excuse. And then I just turned and I just saw a fucking, 1/3 of the store just entirely Rick and Morty pops. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So they'll buy this, but not this new video game in this video game store that I pre-ordered. I specifically told you I was going to buy it today.
The one that's near the Games Workshop in the city center, the first thing you see when you walk in is a rack of jumpers and shirts, Yu-Gi-Oh card boxes, various game pins like Overwatch, the little vinyl figures, and then there is just a wall completely dominated by Funko Pops.
Yep.
You have to walk past all of that into a small square area, and in there they have the actual games.
I get people buy that and they're just trying to stay alive with all that stuff, but don't let the game part of your shop suffer from it.
Here's the funny thing. I remember seeing an article a while back saying that apparently GameStop are going to actually start dialing back the merch, or dialing back on their merch stores, and I'm like, you know what? At this stage, is that going to help you? Because I don't see how.
Rebrand. They need to restructure and rebrand because
actually, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
I don't think physical gaming is going to be as big a thing.
Yeah, actually, Sam, do you remember our friend who went to buy Devil May Cry 5 the day it came out, and he didn't have it pre-ordered? And he went up to the counter, he said, do you have any copies of Devil May Cry 5 left? And the guy said, no. We only order in the exact amount of pre-orders we get plus 2.
Yes, I do remember that.
Which is ridiculous. Because then that same friend went to an Argos that was literally the next door next to the GameStop, and he said, hi, do you have Devil May Cry 5? And they essentially said, yes, we do. Here it is. Also, it's a tenner cheaper than the shop next door where people buy games.
Yeah, that's the thing. Honestly, I tend to, if I want to buy games physically, I tend to do it on Amazon a fair bit these days, just because it's
me too.
They're normally fairly well priced, and the exchange rate is awesome at the moment. But if you want to buy them more locally, your best bet these days is Argus and Smiths. They're your two best bets for getting physical games brand new these days. Or in some cases, which is rare, but there are some places that have kind of smaller, just own brand game shops, and if you have something like that, by all means, support your local retailers, kind of thing.
Oh yeah. So Xenoblade.
Yes, we were talking about Xenoblade, were we? Yeah, I never played any of the Xenoblade games. I do actually have the 3DS port, the new 3DS port of Xenoblade, but I never got around to playing it. So I don't know if I'll get this Switch version. I might go back and try and play the 3DS version since I have it, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I kind of wait and see.
With that.
Yeah,
This is Xenoblade is just a game that's always looked like, at least the first one, because like I'm not too interested in X or 2, but Xenoblade 1 is something that always looked really interesting to me and something I knew I'd like if I got into, but like just didn't get the chance to. And now this is like a prettier version that has new content that was cut from the original. So like, yeah,
it does look very pretty. I'll give it credit. The updated design of it looks gorgeous. It's funny that when it comes to Xenoblade sequels, I've heard a lot of very memey stuff about X and 2, especially, I don't know, I can't remember if this was in X or 2 or both, but especially the very ridiculous design some of the female characters have, in regards to how basically their breasts fit into their clothing, and it is ridiculous. But at the same time, I have heard that they are genuinely very good games. I actually heard a lot of good things about X in particular. So, I don't know. I probably should try and get into the Xenoblade games at some stage, because I probably have a lot of things I'd like about them.
Yeah. Right. Well, that was the end of the Direct. Yep. So, is there anything else to go over?
Loot box count as gambling.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll talk about that briefly.
Just mention that.
Yeah, no, that's worth bringing up briefly. So we've talked a bit before in previous episodes about loot boxes and our thoughts on gambling and gaming a wee bit, but one of the big things that this was just earlier. Well, it's just earlier today I heard about it, and I think it is pretty new news. Is there's new I can't remember if it's new motions or new legislation being proposed in the UK, but it's basically new definitions and regulations regarding gambling, and it very explicitly goes into loot boxes in video games, and it comes down fucking hard on them. And frankly,
it kind of goes into the fact that the original definition that was kind of an excuse to get around that whole "oh no, it can't be gambling" thing was that by definition, since they do not create items which can be exchanged for money, it technically does not count as gambling. With them now re-looking at it, that definition is very flawed given the context of games.
I love
how the items can technically have value beyond because of the way the mechanics work.
Yeah, I love that it specifically addresses that a lot of the problem with previous legislation has been that just the laws have not kept up with the technology, which people have been echoing for ages at this point. And as well as that, it also has specifically called out several companies and figureheads for basically being dishonest and dodging whenever it comes to defending the issue themselves. And basically saying, no, you're talking bullshit. Like, saying it in far nicer language than that, but you're talking bullshit.
And then at the very bottom of that legislation, in really small writing, is this only goes into effect if we get a deal Brexit.
There's always a fucking catch, isn't there?
Always.
Come on, Boris Johnson. Do something right.
Put Boris Johnson in Overwatch.
But they already have Winston.
That is insulting to Winston, my dude.
I know. More of a Junkrat, really.
I think that's insulting to Junkrat. You know Junkrat would be a better Prime Minister.
Well, yeah. I mean, he would have a far more passionate take on things, I think.
Yeah. Now, this passionate take may relate to things like roadkill and explosives, but he'd be passionate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything we wanted to talk about. So I think I'll finish off with the sort of usual. Do any of you have anything you just want to plug? Either be just something you've been doing yourselves, or just even a video you watch or something. Rob, you already mentioned going to look at the development videos on the development of Devil May Cry 2, but if there's anything else you can think of you want to add as well?
Uh, I've just been kind of binging a lot of D&D campaign stuff, so I'll go over to Takahata 101's channel to watch them play the Unexpectables, where it's honestly just a really fun ride.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Actually, on that note, I think what I'll plug for anyone who's... I don't think I've plugged this before. If I have, fuck it. If any of you are looking for some newer D&D shows and want something that's a little bit more bite-sized, doesn't have a massive long-running campaign, and is hosted by locals, look up Dublin and Dragons on YouTube. It's a very fun short series. It's about 8 episodes of a single campaign, and it's run and hosted by gangs of people and gangs of folks and artists based primarily in Dublin, and it's really, really cool, and they're really fun people. So yeah, go check it out. It's good crack. Dan, anything from yourself?
No, that's all I can think of. Unless if anyone out there hasn't watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine yet, I just started it, and please do. If you didn't like it the first time, I didn't either, but I don't know what I didn't see, because it's really good.
I was so fucking happy to see you started watching that. I was so happy.
So, everyone, go on, treat yourself.
So, yeah, and then, I don't know, my Twitter, at DanielTroy95.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Follow me there.
Yeah, you want to follow Dan on Twitter? He just said his tweet. If you want to follow me, I'm at... Actually, off the top, I'm at either the Irelander or Irelander. I'm pretty sure it's the _Irelander, because someone's always fucking beating me to it.
Just go to the podcast Twitter, and it's in there somewhere.
Yep, if you want to follow updates from the podcast itself, follow the podcast at Podcast Playable on Twitter. If you enjoyed this, please share it around. Consider subscribing. And yeah, I think that's the gist of everything for this episode. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.